Now I think we can start. 8 o'clock. Greetings from Sebenstein. I live in 60 kilometers south of Vienna. My name is Maria Riehl, and I greet you from the bottom of my heart as a representative or director of the UN office in Vienna. We participate there on many events and we meet people from different countries. And this meet and greet event is special because we concentrate only on one country, Iraq. And dialogue is very challenging and new possibility how to make friendship between people, how to come to understand other country. So I am happy that you could accept our invitation and we can share the situation in your country and we can understand better how we can support you. I greet also in the name of our founder, Dr. Mahmood. He is teaching us to serve and to love each other. History is calling for reconciliation, for compassion, for love, service, and sacrifice. Today's problems cannot be solved by the logic of power. Today's problems can only be solved by the logic of love. So through this, we try to understand each other, and especially we know that love starts in the family. We are connected to our parents and grandparents, and on this way we can understand also the common base in other cultures and in other countries. It is big honor for me to introduce also Dr. Zoe Bennett. She is Greece she was born in Greece, but she lives in United Kingdom now, and she is president of Middle East region, and she is very much involved in the situation in Middle East, in Arabic countries, and in North Africa. Mrs. Zoe, the word is yours.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really very happy and honored to participate at this session of meet and greet. And also very, very happy to see again my very good and colleagues, Dr. Riehl, Mrs. Bauer, and all the others that I have had the pleasure to work with in the past. Also I'm really very grateful, and I would like to welcome our other panelists as they seem to have a very big expertise on their country, and the effort and courage to come here and express themselves in a public space at the United Nations in Vienna. I believe it's their love for their country that really makes them come ahead and speak to us. So I'm really very grateful, and I really would like to, I'm very happy to see them. Having had an experience with the Middle East, I'm not Middle Easterner, but I have been in contact with the Middle East as president of Women's Federation for World Peace for more than 20 years. And from my experience, the SDGs, the Sustainable Goals, Sustainable Development Goals, are really the tool and have the potential to transform the Middle East. And if they are applied, if we make the effort to implement them, certainly many good changes can come As you know, the Sustainable Development Goals, or the global goals, as we call, they are a set of goals set by the United Nations and adopted, at least on the paper, by all the countries, members of the United Nations. So normally every country should be making the effort to implement them, to practice them already since 2015. That's a very long time ago. Because these goals, as you very well know, I'm not saying anything new, are really crucial. Hunger, education, health, healthy environment, justice, peace, all these elements are really so important and can transform the whole world. They are challenges for the whole world. It's not just for the Middle East, but indeed, I think if they were more advanced in the Middle East, the many challenges that we have in the region certainly would be reduced. I believe that the key to achieve is cooperation between the different sectors of society, between the different countries. But most importantly, my real feeling is the key would be to have a vision, a common vision of our humanity, beyond nationalities, beyond languages, beyond appearances and races. Really, if there is a vision of a common humanity, that every individual has the same feelings, the same needs, the same dreams. A child of anywhere, a young person, an old person has the same dreams, has the same desires, the same goals in their life, to live a good and peaceful life, to develop and become prosperous and happy. So really, if there is this kind of understanding of a common humanity by all people, beyond any particular regions, beyond any races or whatsoever, languages or areas, I think good solutions to advance the SDGs would come. And they can come, those solutions can start by anywhere. It can start, they can start from any country, and then they can develop. If there is an acceptance and respect for each other, they can be developed and understood. It's not a matter of copy-paste one practice or another. It's a matter of adopting and adapting ideas that seem good and universal and global, adapting them to the environment of every particular country. If that happens, then beyond the differences, then there can be some elements that can bring humanity together, can bring people together to appreciate the value of each other. Beyond the differences, we can see the similarities that are there. And of course, as you know, the world is becoming more and more a global village. It shrinks, smaller and smaller. Communication. We are now in the four corners of the earth, and we come together at the same moment. We have different time zones, but that doesn't matter. We are here together. So only global solutions can bring a change, global solutions, something that can really be adapted and in each part of the world. So education is a very important point. Through education, we can plant not only seeds of knowledge, not just grammatical knowledge or literary knowledge or maths or science, but we can plant a character that can give to humanity really its true value. It can be a character of mature, honest, global character that can truly transform people. We call this character education, but personally, I would call it quality character education, because we need to aim, if we are educators or even any any profession, even a journalist, we need to aim to form quality people. We need to become ourselves, not just any human being, but I feel we need to aim towards excellence, not external excellence, but truly towards our conscience. Yeah. This is my experience and my deep feeling from the times I have been living in the Middle East. I lived in Cyprus and I traveled in the whole area of the Middle East, not as far as Iraq, unfortunately, but I have been as far as Kuwait and the Gulf and other countries. And I have felt I've always been I felt very much at home, because also in Greece, this sense of family and warmth of welcome and warmth of the heart is so strong in the Middle East. And it is, I feel, this is what we need to put an emphasis on in order to afterwards to go beyond the differences, beyond the seemingly differences of opinions. Yeah. So I look very much forward to this discussion today on Iraq, and I really want to learn a lot and see how we as a region or as United Nations, as international bodies, we can contribute, participate, benefit, and also contribute to its prosperity. Thank you very much. Oops.
Please unmute, Maya.
Unmute, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Zoe. This was very, very nice. And now I give the word to our MC, Mrs. Renate Amesbauer will guide us through the program, and we will listen to our speakers, and then we can think about some questions. So dialogue bring us together and open the door for better understanding of each other. So, Mrs. Amesbauer, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maya. This is very nice to get a word from you, who has been the first Women Federation president in Austria. She brought this idea to Vienna and Austria, and we really were very happy for that. So, yeah, I'm the moderator today. You might be surprised, but our dear young colleague, Kyungin, she is sick and she could not make it. So I said, okay, I'm happy to step in, and I hope I make a good job as she would do, because she always does it very nicely. Thank you very much also, Zoe, to listen to you. It was so nice to share this vision, this common vision we have. And in my mind is there is a quote from a lady that we also all know, Mother Teresa, and she said one time, people are fighting because they forgot that they are one family. It's a very simple sentence, but it's something I like it so much. And if you think about it, it gives so much of energy and possibilities. Cherish our differences, but also value what we have in common. So I'm very happy that I'm now in the position to introduce our amazing speakers. And I'm very happy to introduce the first speaker from Iraq, Mr. Hameed Abu Ragheef. We got to know each other 1 year ago at the Human Rights Conference in Vienna, in the Vienna Rathaus. And then we met a few times and invited him to our conferences. Mr. Hameed Ragheef is journalist and lawyer and has over 20 years experience in the Middle East. He's a researcher in law and human rights at the Vienna University. He serves as representative of the Iraq Journalist Rights Association in Europe. And he's also the creator and the host of the award-nominated Voice of Peace, a radio program that has been recognized among one of Europe's 2 top community radio shows in 2018, and currently is working on a new podcast, Voice of Justice. And I like this very much, Voice for Peace, Voice for Justice. And we were sitting together for long talks sometime, and I really feel you're kind of a bridge between these differences, to bridge the differences and find the common ground. I'm very curious to listen to you now, Mr. Ragheef. So the floor is yours. And
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege and an honor that to be with you, to join you here today. And especially to talk about education, as I said. And because I think it's a really an important topic for a country's future, especially for a country like Iraq, because as Iraq moves forward with reconstruction and development, education must play a key role in building and a bright and more stable future. But as maybe some of you knows, Iraq, there's also some challenges in education in Iraq education system. Because, for example, there's many schools in Iraq are in a bad condition. There's over, as I see in some studies, over maybe 40% of a school needs to repairs, need to have really sometimes the basic things and tools to for the normal student, unfortunately. I mean, Iraq, as you know, maybe some of you Iraq, they have really rich sorry, they have really rich culture, and also the civilization in Iraq is also really rich. The first person start right, it was from Iraq. I guess many of you they know about Babylon, Sumer, so they know everything or some things about that. But unfortunately, I mean, for me, if I would like also to just say something for my master, for international law and human rights, I choose to focus on AI and the gap between the law and the new technology. Because as I see, I have a child, he's 12 years old, but he's really smart in everything, he do coding, he do things. I mean, when I remember when I was in his age, I could only play some kind of games outside, but now he knows a lot of things. But unfortunately, he knows that because thanks God, I have maybe kind of economic level, it's allowed me to buy him, for example, kind of iPad, gaming PC kind of things. So, so he has some kind of tools and things to do this kind of things, coding, gaming. He'd be sometimes also in his school, to know more than one language when he travel, but when you look at the schools, I mean, I can't say this is so bad, but sometimes when you see or when you read, there's over 40% of schools need the basic things. It's really horrible, because kids, they are the future, right? And for country as in Iraq, I think we need to make this gap, especially in schools, or even sometimes at university, because here I gave also some lectures since when I'm in Baghdad since 3 months or something like that. I gave some lectures also at universities, but there's some kind of students they are, for example, even sometimes they are studying computer science, or they do kind of, for example, international business or whatever. They have really only the basic things about the technology and the AI. Till now, there's a lot of people, they don't know what AI means. So what I think there's some challenges in Iraq, especially in education system. I think the international organizations, UN, some kind of region organization, they could really help in that. And maybe me and Renata, we talk a little bit about it, and even about the women education and stuff like that last time. So, but I think this kind of things, for example, as I said, like the poor schools, sometimes there's like no enough teachers in some kind, because usually I guess the international ranges could be like, you know, for every 20 to 25 students should be one teacher, right? Sometimes here you find 60 person. So this like really, it's really a lot, you know. Also there's like the old methods, you know, till now, maybe because I live, maybe because, you know, my house here in the middle of Baghdad, in the capital. Okay, there's like some schools, you know, they use iPads, they kind of things, but in for example, especially in South, you know, and sometimes in the middle of Iraq, you find a lot of schools, they, you know, they even like sometimes, I guess, like, you know, they share even the pencil, like, you know, or so there's like a lot of needs for that. But I think, like, you know, technology, especially now with like really this, like the really fast development and really fast technology development, especially in AI and other technology, this could really like help also, like, because, you know, for example, also technology sometimes helps students and us as also like a worker or student at university, like help you to you know, to like you to have your need like more or less, you know. For example, with AI, you could, even with resource or something like that, you know, you could like find a lot of resource when you only just search or do kind of things. So I think like technology can really improve education in Iraq, because, for example, technology offers a unique chance, you know, to transform education, and country as Iraq like really needs that. And maybe the lady, she works in region, maybe she knows also something about that. The point, you know, also something maybe sad, you know, Iraq, one of the richest country in the Middle East, you know, because if you look at the, like, you know, every year we have 130 or 140 billion dollars every year that they would, but, you know, if you look at the education, I mean, of course, there's like some good steps, you know, but if you compare it to Europe or compare to America, you know, there's like a really huge gap. So what I think, or what I can also maybe also help, if I find some help from kind of international organizations or UN or whatever, like, I think we could use the technology, especially AI, you know, to give some chances to student in Iraq, you know, to make this gap a little bit less, because it's like, especially or exactly as for example, Iraq before 2003 and after 2003, because before 2003 in Iraq, for example, this was the satellite and the internet was not allowed, you know, this was like, you know, banding, it was not allowed. So people after 2003, it's look like, you know, you open like the heaven door to them, you know, because they saw kind of like as another world, you know. There's like you can watch 60, 100, 150 channel in one time, you know. But before that was like you only watch 2 channels. I mean, just an example, you know. So now with with the new technology, especially like now when I am studying, like, you know, in my master or my PhD in the future, and I think like Bala, she also has maybe some experience as well. But I think, like, you know, for example, now about the online learning platform, I don't know the lady if she also like Madame Zo, if she knows also about it. That's like, I think in Jordan, because I went there sometimes, it's called IREX platform. You know, this like can offer some kind of you know, lessons or lectures online to student to do that. So here in Iraq, I think we need, for example, something like that. We can also like to use the technology more in schools, providing digital tools in a school or something like that. Or, for example, also about the public and private partnerships. I mean, I don't want to talk a lot because to don't take the other guys' time, but what I mean, I think there's like a lot of or some maybe organizations or some NGOs, they could really maybe help in that way or in this way. Sometimes, for example, it's not to give money. No, only, for example, to provide or to offer some, kind of help in, for example, to like with workshops, with kind of things. Now I try also to make some like, contact or network between the universities here and maybe in Europe. We could do, for example, give some lectures or workshops, because I give lectures and workshops in Austria and Switzerland. So I could, for example, like, we find some people here, maybe also which like speak English. And this is also another things. Like, I mean, I know my English is not good, but for example, now here you find a lot of like professors, they have PhD and they are like really amazing professors. But like, when you want, for example, to tell them like, okay, we need to make some connection or some contact with the European university, they could not, for example, speak English. And it's like, another challenge now. So I don't know. So I think like technology, like if we focus on that, we could really help a lot in Iraq and in the whole Middle East. Yeah, I will. And I'm sorry again for my English.
I don't know what is here coming. Yeah, thank you very much. No, don't say sorry, because it was very interesting to listen to you, and it's what we want to hear. And I think maybe we can sometimes help you with to connect to people, because we can, if you come with us for a conference as an attendee or as an intern or however, we can bring it to the UN, and you can also meet maybe people that can help you better in the future. Thank you very much for explaining this. I forgot, I have to remind myself, I wanted to say too, like rules of conduct for this conference today, that one thing we learn as an NGO at the UN, never blame and shame, don't say anything bad, but Hameed, you talked about your country and the real situation, this is okay. And the other thing is that we decided for today to make a safe space for everyone to express to keep what's in the room stays in the room. Even the room is virtual, but what we hear today and what is talked today, we don't tell outside, not connected with the names of people who've been speaking here. Yeah? So that to have a space where everybody can say freely what they experience, and we can learn and we can understand how we can help and support each other. Yeah? And the other thing is that we will have a Q&A session at the end, because I think there's already some people will have questions now, but we want to listen to the other two speakers, and then we will have the time for question and answer. So now it's my joy to invite Miss Bala Mahmood Ali, and sometimes she writes herself with one L, sometimes with two L's. I didn't quite see what was right. It's nice for me because my family name before I got married was Bala with two L's, so it was just like your name. It was very nice to read your CV, and I really I must say, this a young lady with very much experience, and I had a hard time to cut it down to a paragraph like you could see in the invitation. Miss Ali has an educational background, a degree in civil engineering from the University of Sulaymaniyah in Iraq. She is yes, you can correct me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, working on gender-based violence with a German international corporation. She is working for empowerment of women. She has been an intern in the Women's Federation for World Peace in New York. So again, you're also a bridge of West and Middle East. I think a very valuable position. Her focus is women in community and empowering women to become active game players in their society. This is what I understood, and I'm very excited to listen to you now. And so please, Miss Bala Ali, the floor is yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we changed the row of speakers, no problem. We're very happy to have Miss Kika Sana Kika here with us. She is also born Iraqi. She lives now in Rome, Italy. Yeah, she studied at the University of Wyoming. Oh, nice to see you. Now I see you. Yeah, thank you very much. She is has Foundation of Project Management certificate in the University of Salahuddin in the IT center. She lives in the universities in Erbil in Iraq. She is a field researcher, a Middle East consulting solutions instructor. She is a graduate assistant from the University of Wyoming in USA, research assistant, again, a long list of qualifications. And yeah, I also had to cut it short because it was a few pages. And we are very happy that you're here today. And we are very excited to listen or to what you want to say to us. So please, Miss Kika, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Here is evening time. Um, a few more hours and we will be having a new day. So my name is Sana and last name Kika. I am from Erbil and that's the capital of the north region of Iraq called Kurdistan. That's the region of that is managed by the Kurdish government. So it is. I am from Erbil, the capital of Kurdistan. Currently, I am in Iraq, but recently I was on a visit in to Italy. That's when we had a phone call with Mary. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
Yes, I am back to Iraq and now I am back to my work. I work at the university as a research assistant. Um, I will also a little bit talk about the field of my work, which is education, higher education, and some of the weak points, some of the very strong points that I find in my, let's say, in the education system of Iraq, and also some of the weak points that let's say we there that there is a lot of space for working on them. So I think Iraqi universities, including Salahuddin University, have been let's say a field and a broad ground for people to have their education for many years. We have a lot of professors, we have a lot of educators, and the education system, yes, it has been slowly growing. It has been slowly, but it has always been growing in some way. We cannot forget at some time in the past we had professors going to MENA region. That's some places of in Algeria, Morocco. So that's very in the so much in the past. And yes, and we had a lot of people coming from Arab countries and studying in Iraq. So we can't say that education system in Iraq has been weak. So that's some great things that the education system of Iraq has been going through. Good points. And so we have, as a result, we have those establishments, education system that has established those establishments like schools, universities, education systems that have produced professors and educators and also doctors, lawyers, different kinds of professions that are a result of this education system. But at the same time, we can't say that there are a lot of weak points, especially starting from 2003. And these could be mentioned as lack of schools because of the displacement and the and war and Daesh coming into the region and all that, a lot of displacement happened, and that had a great impact on the education, because the infrastructure in many of the locations that were attacked by Daesh was collapsed. So as a result, we lost uh, a lot of these systems. We lost, and aside of the system that stopped for some time serving those people, those students, let's say the university stopped working, the students stopped going to universities or schools, etc. We had also a new generation coming up, which is creating this great gap that we will be having a problem with in the future. And that's the generation after 2003, especially from the center and the southern region of Iraq, that haven't been to school. And they are newborns of, let's say, years after 2003. They don't know the, let's say, the past. They don't know the education, the culture of the past before 2003. And once they came to life, they were brought into life in an area that is under war, under destruction, and under always attack. So that has created an impact on them, and we have now generation that lacks education, that lacks culture, that that might become problematic for the future of Iraq. So that there is a gap between this generation that I am talking about and the before and after the war generation. So that's in the southern and center part, around southern areas of Iraq. That's um, one let's say weak point that we will be having issues in. That's the biggest, let's say, the broadest issue that I can think about. As I will be also mentioning the role of UN in prosperity of Iraq, as Mrs. Zoe was mentioning, I have worked with the United Nations, IOM, for a couple of years before my studies to US. I think all these organizations that are included in UN and other civil society organizations that are outside, that are all working on ground to make something happen and make something good happen in on the ground. So I think the roles of these organizations should be more than providing, let's say, what we call providing the item. Let's say we usually say, don't give me the fish, but let me know how to fish. So teach me how to fish. So that's something that these organizations should be bringing to the people or in Iraq, and should put them in the programs that they are going to implement in the future. As for creating dialogue between between the people in Iraq, because you guys know that Iraq is a country that is rich in different culture. It has different culture, people from different backgrounds, from different religions. Uh, so creating a dialogue between them has been a problem. Even sometime during some time there has been some kind of settlement in that aspect, but it has been on the account of one party over the other. um, I can never, as a minority, um, I can't tell of a time where every single society or every single um, um, minority in Iraq was happy about their situation, and that also creates a problem for the individuals from these communities, and bringing creating dialogue and bringing this together. We need a lot of work from all sides, and this could be done by bringing together people from all sides, such as what we are doing currently. I can see that I am the only one from the Christian minority, and there's also Miss Bala, that's also from another another, let's say, she's Kurdish. She lives in the north of Iraq, and also we have Mr. Hameed, that's also an Arab. That we are three different, let's say, different. We have different backgrounds and different religions. So I think this is a great example of what we can do to bring ideas together and bring people into dialogue together. But this needs a lot of work and a lot of programs that could be implemented. I think we need a lot of work, um, um, and maybe creating or giving chances to people um, that have thoughts of human rights, that agree to accepting each other, would be a great solution for having prosperity in Iraq. And if you guys have any question, I don't want to take your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. This was really, again, such a holistic view on your situation in your country, and congratulations that you are working on it and that you see something is developing, but still there's much that needs to be done. I'm very happy that you feel that this meeting today can be a one step of coming together from the different backgrounds, because you can continue your network. We are also an organization that likes, the Women Federation is international, interreligious, intercultural, and we're always very happy when we have experience meeting people in one place, in one room, from 12, 20 or more different nations and cultural backgrounds. This is, yeah, thank you very much, Miss Kika. And now we will try again with Miss Bala. Can you speak?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
First, I'm so sorry for just this, like, internet issue here. And because of this internet issue, I cannot even open my camera. I don't know, it denied. So thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here and to share like what is going on in Iraq with two beautiful people from my country that we never met, but through like I met Hameed, but like for Sana, and also I'm very happy to meet you and all the other people for this meeting. And like I believe my two, let's say, colleague or buddies, they just clarified very well about the situation and the education in Iraq, both with a different angles. But I want to be like I want to share the challenges for the education in another angle. Just to give you a little bit background about Iraq, Iraq is a very diverse country, and even our geographical location is quite challenging because we are surrounded by different countries that they do have different religions, and like some of them I'm not going to the political side, but in the world we have two sides for the power. So the problem with Iraq is that we are surrounded by the countries that some of them is another power, like of parties, and the other countries that they are our neighborhood, that they are with the another side of power. So that's also a challenge for us. It made us to not have a peace inside Iraq. That's a problem. Like our neighborhood is always coming and make us to fight upon like some some land or like some religions, like as Ms. Sana said that she's from this minority, that they are Christian, or we do have Yazidis, we have the other minorities that they always been the center of attack. Whenever we have something, they were on a front line. And so that's also has like had a very, very huge impact on the education here. So right now we have two type of education. As I'm a Kurdish and I do live in the north, which is called Kurdistan, as Ms. Sana clarified, we do have a very different strategy, curriculum, and everything when it comes to the education. But for the south and central Iraq, they do have their own curriculum. And in the Arabic language, we do have in Kurdish language. So basically, they are very different, but we do have the same challenges. For the South Central, I would say that the problem right now, they do follow a very outdated curriculum. So it has been like there for more than 20 years, like not 20 years, more than 50 years. Because when I see their curriculum, my dad is saying that that was a curriculum that I was studying when I was at school. And my dad is almost 60. So that's one of the problem that we need to focus on the curriculum, because everything, even the science and everything is changed, so they have to update themselves. This is one of the challenges I would say the South and Central they are facing, because I have been working for Mosul and also for Anbar, where two locations that ISIS took over, and I knew like the struggles and everything for the people there. Also, the infrastructure in South and Central Iraq is very, very disaster there, especially in the rural areas, and also for the girls. It's a very, very, like there's a huge barrier, because child marriage is very common there so far. And this is the challenges that I saw or I witnessed it on my eyes for the South and Central. But when it comes to KRI, which is Kurdistan region of Iraq, we do have the updated curriculum. But the problem is that right now we have two type of education. We have the private and we have the public. When it comes to the private, you can find a very good education curriculum that and also you can access to a very high level education material. Like I'll give you an example for my son. He's studying in a German school here that belongs to the German government, and he has a very good curriculum, and he can speak three languages right like while he's just 7 years old. But the other one, my cousins, because their dad and their mom, their parent cannot, afford these kind of schools. They are in a like public school. Yes, they do have the curriculum, but because there's right now, it's been 7 to 8 years. There's a very conflict between the KRA government and the federal government. That I mean, I don't know, like I'm not very into the political things, but there is no budget. And then our all employees, especially the teachers, they do receive only 5 to 6 salaries per year. So that affected them. Yeah, that affected the public people and even the way that people live here. And then especially even in Kurdistan, we do have two parties. And then one of the cities, which is Slemania, that I am originally from, but I live in Erbil, which is the capital. But then the capital people, even the teachers from the public school, they do not on strike. They continue the work even like without getting the salary. But the people from Suleimania and the rural areas, the teachers, they do not go to the school. They do not teach because they will ask. They do protest. They do ask for their salaries. So it is a common thing that every years will happen, that the schools, the public schools will remain closed like basically for 2 4 5 months, and then in 4 months they have to reach the limit that the Erbil did. So this is a very, very huge concern right now in KRI. So I would say for the South Central and South and Central Iraq, we do need to cooperate with the with the UN agencies and the NGOs to build more infrastructures and to encourage them to change the curriculum. And then we have to work on the gender-based violence and the decision making, participation, empowering women to come and to study. But when it comes to care, right, there's a like it should be a bigger than building infrastructure and these kind of things, because we do have it. The only thing right now is concerning people here is their salary. So this has to be done through the government to government levels. So I believe more than sometimes like USA and the other Europe countries, they interfered with this kind of problem that right now is ongoing with the Kurdish government and with the federal government. So that's a problem. When you come to KRI, you can see that there's a development. Or people think that, oh wow, right now KRI, they do develop. They have like nice buildings. We do have good roads. We do have nice cars. But no, people not living in the way that people is thinking, because it's right now we do have two level of people. One of them is very rich and the other one, they are not rich, they are very very poor. And yeah, so that's my concern, and that's what I've been through, and that's actually what our people is facing right now, despite the fact right now we do have a lot of refugees from the Syria, and then from Iran also, because due to the sanction, KRI right now is hosting a lot of refugees from Iran. And also we do host a lot of IDPs from South and Central. They do not go to their own because they established their home here and everything because of the security that we have. But when it comes to the economy, our economy is very, very bad. Even South Central, they are better than us in this case, because at least they give their employee their salaries, which we don't. Yeah. So that's basically from my end, and I'm ready for any questions and anything. And sorry, just to add one thing else also, when it comes to the higher education, when we go to the private, like also in Canada, we do have private colleges, and we do have also like public universities. Also, the quality of education is very, very different. When it comes to the private universities like American University that we do have two American university. One of them is in Suleimania, the other one is in Duhok, and we do have a Kurdistan university in Erbil. These three universities are private, and it's very, very expensive, but they do have a very, very good quality when it comes to the education. And the graduates from these universities, they do get their own employment, let's say, like they do get the job very easily. And it's not like the others that they do graduate in the like public universities. Why? Because in the public universities, like I graduated in civil engineering, we do say that I graduated with an English language, but it is not. It was a Kurdish, but all our exams was in English. So basically right now a high demand for people to get the job is to know the English or Arabic or like multi languages. So this is also on concern when it comes to the higher education. And right now we do have, like even in South Central and in KRI, we have a very huge rate of unemployment. People, they don't want to study. They say, oh, if I graduated from a civil engineering, there's no work, there's no job. Why am I doing it? It is just wasting of time. So this is also one of the problems that we are facing right now, that made the education and the quality of education more worse than before. I'm so sorry for saying that, but it is not because I'm very uh, disappointed, but it is exactly where I'm seeing, because I am the civil engineer and I graduated with hundreds of colleagues that they got a very high degree at 12, that we have this 12 a level that we have to get a very 95, 96 out of 100. So we got this kind of degree, and all of them, they were very hardworking students. But I would say that 70% of them, 70 right now, they do not have job while they are graduated for 8 years. Or if they have a job, They do work other jobs like me. I never worked as a civil engineer. And then the others, I'm happy. Like I would say that I'm quite lucky because I got to work with this international NGOs that I get a good salary. But the others, they do work for a local companies like in cashier, like in I don't know, admin and this kind of thing that they do get just $400 for a month. And then the living condition in Iraq is very high. I mean, it's not for $400. You just can rent a very small and tiny apartment in Erbil for 400. So that's also one of the problems that we do face here. We do have a very high price on the properties, real estate, living condition, but we don't have a good salary. We don't have a good type of work, and we do not care about the people's health, people's mindset, because the people that they do work for a private sectors, they use this because people doesn't have any job with the public sectors, and the private sector people, they are using you for everything. Yeah. Thank you so much. And sorry because I was maybe my experience was quite harder than the others.
No, thank you very much, Miss Bala. Thank you that you were talking, and we had this very nice picture of you. And thank you for being truthful for the situation, because if it is like that, then it's good to know. And of course, yeah, we always would like to help on the spot, but I think to connect to the UN and whoever is in Vienna, I can only say as an NGO with consultative status, we have the chance to have delegations, to build delegations for conferences, for constructive dialogues. This is actually, this meet and greet is kind of a branch of the constructive dialogues that Merle Soquila continued after the experience. The UN in Vienna offers the dialogue between NGOs and civil society and the governments. It's encouraging this. It's making space for this. It gives a lot of space and extra days for the NGOs to meet, for these NGOs and private sector. It can be businesses, it can be all kind of enterprises that are non-governmental, while the governments are discussing, and the topics are always actually the topic in Vienna UN, I may say, is one of them is combating crime in all its forms. And we always say, okay, if you go down to the roots, what is the root of criminality? It is actually, you can change a society and change education. When there's investment in education, when there's investment in young people, then many of the crimes will not happen. And the other thing is what Ms. Zoe Bennett, our dear colleague, said at the beginning, to put his mindset in people's minds. And you also mentioned that the cooperation across cultural divides, even in one nation, this is something, someone has to start with it. We are starting today. It should continue. It's something that's in every country, and there's no country that is completely unique. Everybody's the same. Even in a family, people don't think the same. We think different things. We have different mindsets, different opinions, different viewpoints, and we learn to talk to each other. This is why always we like this example of family, like Maria Riehl said, 3-generation family. You have everyone in one family, and you learn to deal with each other, and this is a good training ground. No, thank you very much for sharing. And I don't want to say too much because I think there are many questions for you now, because I think Miss Merle Barlaan, who was going to say something because she was your supervisor when you were intern in New York, but I think she's on the road and she is not. Juliette, you want to say something in replacing Merle? So maybe we can, I think Merle is not here. Merle Barlaan is not here, so maybe Juliette, do you want to say something on behalf of Merle? Yes, please, because she is a colleague from Merle in New York office. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, or wherever you are. And nice to see you again, Renate. I miss Vienna, and I miss Bala a lot. I was Bala's host collaborator here in New York City with Women's Federation for World Peace International. Bala came with a lot of education and experience, and it was really an honor for me to be her mentor. Well, welcome, Bala, and I also met Hameed in Vienna, Austria, during the UN anniversary. So it's familiar faces, and I'm glad to see you again via Zoom meeting. Zana, I'm really impressed of what your experiences and your suggestions are. I would say I could not fill Merle's shoes. I'm only her staff, and she's my director. But anyway, with all of the three speakers were talking about education, and that's a big challenge not only for Iraq but the whole world, actually. And I know that when you spend money in private schools, it's a lot of money, and private schools have the challenges themselves in terms of the quality of education. And I know that for the fact, because my kids went to a public ed here in the United States of America, and I went to a private school when I was growing up in the Philippines. However, intelligence is intelligence. Like Hamid's kid is up there, very intellectual. And I also believe in what Sana said, because I was a youth leader myself in 3 organizations back home in the Philippines. I went into grassroots levels. I lived with the people in the community, created some projects. I had a lot of projects during my youth period. So I know that we taught the importance of teaching the grassroots levels is very important. You know why? Because I myself saw the significant change. For example, there was problems in education in the Philippines and poverty. And so there were also conflicts and health issues. So what we did, the government and private sectors helped trained me so they could send me and other leaders to help the community. So I lived there for a couple of months, taught them what they need, and we left them with some good, valuable education and lifestyle changes. So I see from the 3 speakers the common problem of education. So first, my question would be, I know that charity starts at home, and Sana said the best way to teach people is to educate them, because doling out will run out of supply. But if you teach them how to fish, it goes a long way. And that's what exactly we did when I was during my youth period of teaching and doing projects with the Filipino people who are marginalized and experiencing poverty. So I would say my first question would be for everybody, for the 3 speakers. What initiatives have the government or private sectors are doing or have done to address the problem of education? Can I start with Sana? That is my question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you very well.
Yes.
And thank you very
Yes,
much.
let me. Yes, I heard you, and thank you for your question. Let's say the private sector. Myself in the Kurdish region, I went to the first school, first private school in the region. So when I was 12 years, just when I finished my primary school, um, I was sent to a private school. That's the first private school. What it brought, I think it was let's say let's say it was an international school, not Iraqi curriculum, an international curriculum in a different language. And the only private school, it was really challenging because not many families send their kids to such school because it was costly, and there was trust issues with the party bringing in the school. So it was a Turkish school, and at that time we were under Saddam regime, and we were afraid of Saddam attacking those schools and attacking the Turkish teachers. So that was a challenge. But I think what these private schools And later on, after years after years, now we hear Bala talking about a German school with the German system. So that's we are progressing in different schools. I think it has brought some kind of openness towards other societies and towards other cultures. I think at that point, it we have gained from these private schools, but at the same time, we have it has all at the same time created some kind of hierarchy, ranking between the society, between the individuals in the society, because people who are able to send their children to spend money and send their children to private schools, they have created their own society. So those students, among themselves, have their own gatherings, have their own um have their own gathering, have their own groups, they have their own outings. And compared to those in the public schools, those go to normal public school, that are less educated, less open to the outside community, outside thoughts. So that is another issue that it has created. But in general, we are, I think, having private schools is a good point for being open to other societies, for let's say creating that united one world vision that nowadays is being presented, and nowadays is being let's say a topic. It's the trending. So I think if we want to go towards that, having those private schools from different international background, it's a good point. But again, thinking about our own society, if you want to, let's say, preserve our culture, our traditions, then it's better for us to for our government to take care and have some, let's say, give more attention to the public schools that are under its own control.
Thank you very much, Miss Sandra. This
Yeah.
was very embracive answer.
Yeah.
Again, we can learn a lot, and this is the challenge. We can feel it, the elite and the others, and how to embrace each other. The ones embrace the other ones, and as you said, the government also to see the focus on education. You see, it is so important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your answer, and I think Juliette, the question also goes to the other speakers.
Yes, please. If I would like to hear from Bala, what she thinks about that, because I working with Bala professionally and at personal level was really great, and I know her level of intelligence. So Bala, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you so much, Miss Julie. First, I really miss you, and I really miss that
I
you
miss you
mentored
too.
me. And I would just say to tell people here that I've learned a lot from Miss Julie personally and professionally. She also hosted me more than 4 nights, 5 nights at her home. Thank you so much for everything, Miss Julie. And just to come to your question, what the initiatives that the government or the other civil societies or the NGOs doing regarding the education and the quality of education, I would say that uh, there's a program that called, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is reforming or restructuring. It's for the South Central or the federal government, that it's from 2011 and to 2020. They started to build and to construct new schools, and then the way that they teach them the schools, but it is still it's very much needed. And then in Iraq, like in Kurdistan also, our Minister of Education, they started to integrate somehow the technological tools to to teach. It's like especially during the COVID. So this is also kind of initiatives right now. If there is any kind of like maintenance or kind of like, because sometimes in Iraq, like in the KRI, we do have snows, especially in the Slemania cities. When there is no road to go to the schools, they use like the tablets, and this is quite new and good for our. That's, I would say, that's an initiative, but it's still, as I said, it is not what we need. Like, it is not at the level that we need. It is not, I'm not saying it is not what we need, but it is not at this level that we ambition for it, because we need more than this. As I said, we need to work on the grassroots, which is for KRI. They need to work on their own, like political delegations to the federal government, to work on this problem that they do have for their own teachers' salaries. This is a problem that they have to work, but they did initiatives. And also when it comes to the UN or the NGOs, for the South Central, because I was a part of the program that we build a lot of schools within GIZ. And we also build like a peace curriculum that we integrated into the program, the curriculum into the schools. We call it peace education, but it's kind of like a leisure activities, like a sports or paintings. Like, this is called a peace education. And also we work it on inclusivity. What we mean by this, in Iraq we do have this problem when it comes to the students with disabilities. They do not have a good access to the buildings. So what we did as like, let's say, as an international NGOs, we started to build the new schools with a very easy access to the disabled students. So this is basically the basic initiatives that has been done through the both governments, but also through the NGOs. But it still needed to be more and more and more, because Iraq has been through a very massive conflicts, like outside and internally. That's a problem. We still have a problem internally. Like, the only grassroots that we should, and the only initiatives that I would say it will work first, even before education, like how to teach them to read and write, how to teach our students to live peacefully. So I would say including peace education into each and every single schools in Iraq, Kara, and the South Central, to lead and to teach our students at the very first, like I would say, even through the kindergarten, how to make them to live together. It's okay if my neighborhood is an Arab, or it's a Christian, or it's an Yazidi. Why I have to be angry if there's an Arab in my country, or like in my land, or if I'm in Baghdad? So why we just fight upon a piece of land? We have been fighting for almost like how many decades, and we still have the same problem, but in a different way. So I would say just including the peace education into the both KRI and South Central would be a very good step for stopping the fights, and then we can work on the other angles. Yeah. I'm not sure, Miss Julie, if it is answering your question.
Yes, Bala, very much. Thank you very much. But I got a good cue that sometimes hinders education and learning is when there's conflict and wars. Because instead of focusing on learning, of course, it's human nature that we get so anxious about it. And our brain is diverted to something else, of fear, that hinders learning. So I believe that we should work, I think, also on peace building. Bala, do you agree with me? We will have these initiatives there that if there's peace and there's more opportunities for us to learn and think about more better things to progress in Iraq. Yeah, thank you so much, Sana and Bala, for your inputs. And hopefully that in the future, and Renate, maybe we could do something internationally or create a space or platform to help them out. Basically, Hameed, Sana, and Bala are telling us some of the concerns that they have in Iraq, that these kids need to be educated. They're very intelligent kids, just like Bala, Hameed's son. And it's a waste of not giving them the platform and space to be educated, and just like any other kids of the world as well. But now that they have addressed these concerns to us, maybe one day we could come together and find efforts to help them also as well. So my heart is with you, Bala and Hameed and everybody in Iraq, and maybe we could reconvene one time and plan further to help out the kids out there.
Thank you very much, Juliette. And also, I really want to say thank you to Bala, and it's also thank you very much for telling the hopeful things. Even there's like the little plants in spring, the first leaves that come out, and they need to be taken care of to be able to grow. And we will try everything to support, also in praying and thinking of you and helping you as much as you can, helping with contacts. I don't know if Hameed also wants to say something to this question of what is done, what projects are there around.
I think Sana and Bala, they really covered the question very well. So they said almost everything. But I would like maybe to just point something not that different, like something else. For example, now what I saw in Iraq, for example, also between like the private schools and even universities and the public one, the government one. I mean, except the international schools and international universities. The point there, for example, the curriculum, like still, like, for example, the private school and private universities, they still, they be limited from higher education ministry and education ministry to, for example, they cannot really add a lot of things, for example, except, for example, the kind of, for example, to use the iPad, or for the class to be, for example, only 10 or 15 students instead, for example, to 30 or 41. But with the like method and with the curriculum, like still there's like kind of limited. So they follow the same system. And this also, I think, like we need to work on it, because we need to update, as maybe Bala said as well. Like we have really all, like, maybe since 50 or 40 or even 60 years, the curriculum, like in the schools and at university, maybe a little bit better, but we still like really don't follow the update and the new world. So I'm sorry, I have also to leave soon. So what I would like to say, that education and higher education are the foundation of a better future for Iraq. So by bringing technology into schools and universities, and also update the system and stuff like that, and also maybe what I hear like before, also about the peace studies, I think like really we can give the students the tools they need to succeed in a modern world. Because even Iraq, like, in from 80 to 88, like 1980 to 1988, we had a war with Iran. And then in 1990 to 1991, then after 2003. So with all this kind of, like war, civilian war, all of this problem and psychology problem, I think we need to give our like kids and our students like kind of education, or to teach them something about peace, about life, about kind of things, not only math and physics and chemistry, because I think if we will not do that, then we will have also a lot of psycho or special psycho community in Iraq, because this kind of new generation, in Iraq now, with all this technology and TikTok and Instagram and other things, and you see a lot of like crimes and murders and all this kind of like really bad things in the world. So we need to like make some healing for them souls. Yeah. So I don't know. I think like the international organization and UN and other so I really encourage like all the like UN organizations and international organization, you know, to maybe involve in that. And I think me, Bala and Sana, we can also help. I for myself, I can say, you know, I am really ready to do anything you need to make some contact or to do something.
Thank you very much, Hameed. I think it's when I listen to all of you, I feel that you are the core, you are the starting center of a new network, a new kind of network, because there's some things that you can do when you are in the country, but your mindset is in and out, because all the three of you, you have been living in other countries and you come back to your country and you see the solutions for your problems. And I think we can support you with contacts if we have them. We can support you with access to places where you can make your contacts. But I think you are like diamonds for your society. And the next thing is also to find like-minded people in your area. Find those people who say, yes, this is like that, and let's go and move in this direction. And probably there are like-minded people. It's not always easy to find them, but this is the way to go, because these changes have to happen in the country in the end with help from outside, but you are the channels for these changes. Is my belief, my understanding. Juliette, you want to say, but please short, and then we see if there is one more other questions. Otherwise, I really want to come to close.
So it's really just in connection to what Habib was saying, that for me, there is no prosperity without peace. And I believe, I don't know if you agree with me, do you think that peace education would be incorporated into your education curriculum, starting at a very young age? As you know, Sana was mentioning that those born in 2023, of course, have no idea of the culture and what went on before that. Do you think that they would incorporate this so they would know what's going on, learn from the past, and then build the future? What do you think, Hameed?
Yeah, I think especially in Iraq history, and you know, maybe now Bala and Sana, they could also maybe agree with me or not, I don't know. But what I think, we look like, you know, like we have, you know, like every 100 years or every, you know, kind of 100 years more or less, you know, we have also kind of issues and kind of problem, you know, to have like, you know, like really some like, you know, wars, like, you know, bad situation, sometimes civilian war or stuff like that. So I think peace studies, because you know, I for me, I joined like a semester also in Austria, and then I start to teach for like, you know, like about kind of peace and, you know, like conflict and peace. So I think at least because, you know, it's good for our like for the young generation in Iraq and even for other countries in the region, like, you know, at least to know about it, you know, to think about it. Because the point, like, you know, to only focus with media about, okay, today is killed 20 person, 10 years ago it was a civilian war, you know, your uncle, your dad, your son, your sister be killed because of kind of, you know, a civilian war. And next, hopefully not, but yeah, like, you know, next 2-3 years, there's like also another issues in Syria, in Basra, in south of Iraq. You know, this kind of things, I think also make you like really, I don't know, like I think for normal people, they need to be like, you know, to be healing, like you know, to just you know, learn more about like other side of the world, you know, to at least read or learn about peace, about life, how beautiful the life is. You know, the life is not only, okay, you know, I have really to you know, to work, for example, to get salary to live, as maybe was Bala was mentioned, you know, because people from also here think more about salary, you know, because it's like also I think kind of, because you know, they have no chance to think about other things. Okay, I need money to pay my rent, to do like this, but like, you know, people sometimes they don't really even think about the peace, you know, or the think about the normal life. The life's only about, okay, I have to work, I have to go to like this to protect my family, to do like this, to do like this. So of course, for me, at least for me, and I try to do that with my son, at least, you know, to sometimes, of course, not directly, because, you know, I don't want him also to get really into only that, but like, you know, to make some balance, you know, to have at least to think about peace, to go out, to know about like the the community, and the, because sometimes also the kids, they have really kind of like really kind of questions you can't answer. For example, when they ask you, okay, why this person killed us because we are from different religion, or why you know, this kind of things. I mean, if they know more about peace, about things, so they know, okay, there's like a bad people, good people, but also bad people. They could be good people in another life, in another community, kind of things.
Yes, I think the topic of peace education, thank you very much, Hameed, is a general topic, and actually we also have this view that it should be part of a basic education, this peace education as Women Federation. No peace without women, no education without peace education. And to, like Dr. Bennett, she shared in the beginning, to have this common vision that we are one family. Yeah? And I think even children and young people, they have more natural, they have this understanding. New generations often they feel, oh, why are these old people fighting about something that they don't feel they want to fight about this anymore. So maybe to pick up this can be picked up, and we can together encourage whomever we meet to make this a point, this education, and educate ourselves. When I listen again and again, I feel you are really pioneers of change for your country. We are very lucky that we meet you and that we got to know you, but maybe because of your desire to be out and to learn other things. This is why we met you, Hameed and Miss Bala and Sana. So I think you're the start. Like I often think of Gandhi, if you want to have a change, then you have to become the beginning of this change. Even it's not easy, but together. And I really want to give the chance once more for one other person to have a question. Yes, Zoe, she wants to say something. Please, Zoe.
Thank you.
But I'm sorry, I just have to leave
You have to
soon.
leave, Hamid. Thank you so
I have to
much.
leave soon. Thank you.
Soon. So then
Yeah,
I say one thing that
I
can be
will listen
better.
to what she said, and then I will leave.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to observe that it's not just the children. The children get a lot of influences. They get the influence of the school and of the education, but then there is the house, there is the parents, there is the environment in the family. What do they receive there? Your son is lucky to have you and probably your wife who have a different continuous education from probably a good basis of good character at school. But what if the children learn one thing at school, maybe some peace, some you have to reconcile and not to be aggressive, and then they go back home and they hear, oh no, I hate this neighbor because he's different religion. So what is the even more confusion? So we need to address not just my feeling, not just the children, education in general. As you said, healing of the heart, but everybody. And there, I think journalists have a big role. They are the educators of the society in a way. I have noticed that in Cyprus. That's all.
Thank you, Zoe. And do you want to reply or?
No, I agree 100%. Yeah, of course, I agree. But like when I was talking about the kids, because I think with kids this would be like a really a good start, you know, because like when you teach or when you try to do something with kids, because you have somehow like you put the kids on the right way, and then at least for like next 5 like 5 years and 10 years, at least you have people, they have kind of different vision or kind of different thought about what's going on, you know, or at least they could do what we try to do. I don't want to say what I do, but what I try to do, for example, you know, because, and of course, like, you know, if like we can do, for example, for kids and for like young boys and also for the adult, that's why I already said like, for example, we need the international organization and UN and other and other partners to help. Why? Because we could like really get a lot from your experience. Because now, for example, when I'm talking just only about like sometimes personal experience or what I sometimes read or know about kind of things. But for example, from you or from the other ladies, like, of course, you try different things. You know, for example, you were in Africa and in Asia and Europe, so, and also you learned a lot and you teach also maybe a lot. You know, so of course, then we will have like a really a good team and mix in the future. Yeah. Thank you.
We're looking forward when you come
but
back.
I'm ready. I'm ready to help in any way. Like if anything we can do, this would be.
Now we keep going. We keep going. I don't want to cut off, but we really want to make a group photo, and so Lily can put everyone in the same on the same level. No spotlights, and whoever can turn on the camera, please do so. Lily, would you be ready to make a photo? There's still a few of us in the spotlight.
Yes, as soon as everybody turns their camera on, I already took a few screenshots.
Okay.
But there were many cameras off.
But maybe some cannot, but who can, please turn on the cameras.
For me, I cannot. Maybe someone can be very kind and put my picture at my name.
I can't put it in the thing,
much.
I can only do full screen. I'm sorry. So
okay.
I was already
Perfect.
looking to do that. I couldn't do that. We would
Okay,
need to
thank
do
you
that
so
before.
much.
Yeah.
Maybe later on we can make create a photo where you're on it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Now my mouse is
Okay, everybody smile.
I'm smiling because my mouse doesn't want to move to take the photo. Mamma mia. Okay, now here we go. 1, 2, 3, smile. And save. No, cancel and save. Save. No. Sorry, this is getting, like I said before, my computer's getting a bit stuck on the mouse, so doesn't want to move.
Stay patient, Lily. Stay patient.
You have to stay patient because I have to wait until my mouse moves. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So once more, screenshot, and no, that didn't take it. And here we go. Smile. And
I made it. Anyway, if you need...
Okay,
please send them to me, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
So, before everybody has to leave, then we also want to give the last word to the originator of the Meet and Greet online platform, Mrs. Merle Soquila-Blaschke from Canton, Villa. Please, Merle, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Renate, for giving me the floor. And yeah, thank you for joining us tonight, everyone who are watching as well. And yeah, it was very interesting to hear all these different ideas, and everyone brought something unique to the table, especially it's the very first time that we focus on one country, which is Iraq, no? And yeah, thank you so much. And I really appreciate all the efforts And each contribution made, so I want to thank all the speakers who contributed their valuable insights to help achieve a sustainable solution to challenges or issues of concern in your country in Iraq. For every effort, big or small, is crucial. And yeah, I want to emphasize that this platform is actually not only for dialogue, but also for inspiration and learning. So we are learning a lot from this platform. And I am deeply moved by your hard works. I can truly feel your tremendous efforts for your community. Keep it up. And I wish you the very best. Thank you for being here, and God bless.
Thank you, Merle. Thank you very much for these very nice closing words. I can really only say again, I want to really repeat that thank you very much for everyone who was joining us today or is joining us. And we really want to send you a lot of energy, your three heroes of Iraq, because changes never start with masses. Changes always start with some people who understand something and then continue and don't give up and find their companions. I think it's an experience that also Zoe shares, and Maria, and many of us. We, even at the UN, we have our ideas, and then we find people who really value the same values as we cherish, and they like to work together with us. So we really wish you all the best, Miss Bala, Miss Kika, Mr. Hameed, and whenever you come to our direction, if it's America or Europe, then we really are happy to share all our experiences. Actually, we do have organizations for young people, we have organizations for women, we have the Universal Peace Federation, so we are working for peace. And it has to go through the minds and hearts of people. It's not something you can put on top down. It needs a cooperation of people. And so I think we started today, and we will definitely continue. I want to say thank you for everyone, but please don't leave, because we have another nice surprise. Some music was given to us, and so another chance to delve into the culture of our speakers today. So I want to ask Lily to play the music, and I say farewell now. Whoever is here afterwards, we can say farewell again, but maybe some of us, I really have to leave now. So please play the music. Thank you very much. This came from Bala, this song. The desire to have everyone have a space on the table. And I think it's just as rich in our mind to say everyone has something that's different, something that we can learn, that we can appreciate, that we can be happy that everybody is different from one another. Otherwise, it would be quite boring in this world. So I think this is a kind of mindset that we can try to implement and encourage each other and implement in others around us. Yeah, I want to say thank you very much today for all the three speakers coming from different backgrounds, but speaking very openly. And I have learned a lot. I think everybody has learned a lot. And I thank you also very much for all those listening, taking the time. And yeah, let's meet the next time for the meet and greet number 8. We do not know when it will be. But thank you for your faithfulness and being with us every time again. Thank you very much. We stay connected. We think of each other. We help each other. We talk to each other whenever the opportunities come. Thank you. And yeah, good night for us here. Many of us, maybe good morning, have a good day. For us, have a good night and sleep well at some point. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Bella.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye.
Night. Bye.
Thank you.
Good year.
Thank you.
We can still say have a good year, yeah. Happiness, health,
Yeah.
success, prosperity in this year that has just started. Thank you. And thank you very much, Lily, for keeping the technique going. Thank you so much. It is